ฮ Critic Roger Ebert as the most talented actor in his age group in Hollywood history, Elijah Wood's transformation from child prodigy to global superstar can be summed up in 5 simple words: the Lord of the Rings. But in the years since, Wood has vanished from the sight of men even more thoroughly than Frodo. Here's a look at the real reason we don't hear about Elijah Wood so much anymore. Dangerous accusations. Wood got on the wrong side of Hollywood execs when he told a British newspaper that the American film industry was full of sexual predators targeting young actors. The actor further elaborated, saying, "If you're innocent, you have very little knowledge of the world and you want to succeed. People with parasitic interests will see you as their prey." He even compared the scale of abuse taking place in Tinseltown to the crimes carried out by reviled British TV personality Jimmy Savile, who used his status to prey on as many as 500 victims before his death in 2011. Woods later backtracked on his comment with a Twitter statement that read, "This subject of child abuse is an important one that should be discussed and properly investigated. But as I made absolutely clear to the writer, I have no first-hand experience or observation of the topic." Still, the controversy may have made Wood a little too hot to handle for some in Hollywood. A hard hobbit to break. When The Lord of the Rings came to its epic conclusion with 2003's Return of the King, Wood tried to avoid being pigeonholed by seeking out the most un-Frodo-like parts he could. He played a pervy technician in the 2004 indie favorite Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and a creepy cannibal in the 2005 adaptation of Frank Miller's Sin City. He went on to play a brutal serial killer in the 2012 remake of Maniac, but even then, he couldn't escape the long shadow cast by The Shire, he told The Guardian. "It's funny, when Maniac was first announced, all the references in the press were to Frodo. Yet that was 8 years ago. I've worked on a bunch of vastly different movies since then. I guess what it showed is that Frodo's never going away." Unlike Frodo, Wood doesn't seem to have avoided the curse of the One Ring. Lots of voice work. One way to deal with typecasting is to take on roles that don't involve showing your face. While Wood's time in the public eye has seemed spotty over the years, he's actually been hard at work behind the scenes, providing voices for animated characters in everything from kids' television to video games. He voiced the titular Purple Dragon in 3 consecutive The Legend of Spyro games, between 2006 and 2008. More recently, he's popped up in Broken Age. Of course, Wood's most recognizable voice role might be Mumble, the Penguin protagonist of the box office smash Happy Feet, but he also provided voice work for Nine and the Wind Rises, as well as the Cartoon Network miniseries Over the Garden Wall. Music Man. While most of us associate Elijah Wood with the movie business, the actor has actually been quite active in the music industry for a number of years. He even started his own label, Simian Records, in 2005, hoping to provide a home to talented bands from all genres. Just don't call him DJ Frodo.
And I've had to constantly tell people that that's not my DJ name, which is so crazy because I would be insane to call myself DJ Frodo.
As a DJ, Wood has played his eclectic sets at venues worldwide, from glitzy Las Vegas functions to the alternative music hotspots of Europe and even the VIP clubs of India. He told ABC News that he sees music as a natural transition from acting. They're both extensions of creativity, I think. But with records in some ways, there's something just more purely, uniquely me that doesn't relate at all to the other world that I work in. He's behind the camera. After his experience making the 2012 slasher flick Maniac, Wood decided to create his own production company to create and distribute horror films. Called Spectrevision, the production company has released films like The Greasy Strangler and the acclaimed art house hit A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And Wood is considering directing as well. He told Vimby, "Directing is always something that I wanted to do. I've been so lucky to work with so many amazing directors on all kinds of different films, and I feel as though I've soaked all of that up like a sponge. I'm totally fascinated by every aspect of filmmaking." Charity case. Wood dedicates a good chunk of his time to philanthropy, lending his name to a number of charitable causes. That includes the Art of Elysium, which honored Woods for his efforts raising funds for the group, which connects sick children with their favorite celebrities. And Wood is also very hands-on, even heading to Chile in person to help rescue stray animals left behind after an earthquake devastated the area. Deep in the heart of Texas. Everybody knows Hollywood is the home of the stars, but Wood turned his back on the LA lifestyle when he sold his Santa Monica home and moved to Austin, Texas. And he loves his new hometown.
It's a place where I feel like crazy ideas are supported. There's a sense of community here. It is a big city. It feels like a small town.
But moving away from Tinseltown might be another reason why he hasn't headlined any flicks recently. Out of sight, out of mind. He doesn't like American humor. Woods' opportunities in Hollywood may also be limited by his high standards when it comes to comedy. While he has appeared in TV comedies like Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency and Wilfred, he much prefers the British style of humor to the sort of comedies Hollywood usually makes. He told the Radio Times, "I always hoped Wilfred would be similar to a British comedy series, where it would tell a story and be done with it, as opposed to the typically American thing which is to beat something into the ground over and over. I'm not interested in that."
Tell me a joke.
Okay. Knock, knock.
No! Door! Door! You can't answer it! Why'd you answer the door? You can't answer it! Answer the door! Run! Run!
What's next? Woods may never again reach the heights of fame and fortune he achieved with The Lord of the Rings, but he doesn't seem to care very much. Daring indie films like I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore continue to showcase Woods' unique sensibilities, while his DJ career shows no sign of slowing, as proven by his 2016 tour of Europe. And his production company Spectavision recently formed a new branch called Company X, which aims to produce a diverse array of projects with no limitations on genre or budget. When you've got that much going on, who needs Frodo anymore? Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube.
Hey everybody, it's Griffin, Pat, and Nick here for Polygon, and we just witnessed the most powerful console ever.
Ever. Past, present, and future.
No one will ever make a more powerful console. I know there's the law about how computers get more sophisticated, they double every year. No, this is it. The
thing that I
pinnacle.
really loved was Phil Spencer's commitment when he came out there. He said, if somebody tries to make a more powerful console, I will kill him.
He said he'll kill him, yeah. And I believed him. So we're talking about the Xbox One X, which is the name of Project Scorpio.
Yeah.
Their newer, better, faster, stronger Xbox One, which is what they opened up their press conference with today. And we could pretend to go into the details of the hardware, but I do not remember.
I can tell you all about it. Ask me anything.
How many flops?
17 teraflop transistors. Trillion transistors of them, and megabytes.
And they fit all of them in the console, or
They
are
all-
they outside?
They put so many in, it got smaller, Griffin.
Frick!
It's the smallest Xbox ever. That was surprising to me, legitimately, because everything I had heard
It is
about the
little,
Scorpio
yeah.
and the dev kits was that they were just these enormous like VCRs, and
Sure.
the idea that it's smaller than the One S is like
And he said apparently also it vapes, which I'm very,
there
very
is
into.
a vapor rig. In there.
It's got the vape chamber, I think.
Yeah, bottom line is that it runs games in 4K with smoother textures and faster load times and more consistent frame rates. I guess that is the sort of sales pitch for the Xbox One X. Kind of a confusing name, I feel like, since there's an Xbox One S.
Yeah,
so like
phonetically, it's got a lot
phonetically
in
over the
common.
phone, I feel like there's going to be some
You're telling your
miscommunication.
grandma what you want.
I've thought that you said the wrong thing several times.
No, we're good so far, I think.
Yeah.
But they also announced the price at the end of the press conference. It's going to be $499, which is, I think, a little bit steep. The PS4 Pro is $399 at the moment, and has sort of a similar sales pitch. Although the Xbox One X, I think, has some beefier chips inside of it.
I think that difference, like you and I are cognizant of that, but I don't know that like the average consumer is gonna when they look at their like flyer this Christmas for Zales. Zales doesn't sell video game systems, do they?
No, Zales doesn't do games anymore.
Okay.
They used to be the
they got
premier outlet for it.
When you're looking at your Sears flyer, it says that the PS4 Pro is $290. No, they dropped it by 50, right?
No, it's $399. In any case.
In any case, there's like a big price difference
Sure.
now between those two, and it's hard to translate that value proposition, I think, to the layperson.
I don't know if I was sold on it, but I will say the rest of the press conference was basically them going all in on showing like what the console can do, and they did so by showing off 42 games, 22 of which are quote-unquote exclusives, which also covers like console launch exclusives, which could mean like they'll go to other places later on. Although obviously all the first-party stuff is going to be on the Xbox One. Obviously your games will work across the whole Xbox One family,
including Windows 10
products, including Windows 10. A lot of the games are play anywhere. And what I will say is like I'm not exactly sold on the Xbox One X, but the rest of the press conference was pretty good. Like
was tight.
there was a lot of good stuff they showed off.
They had the quantity there. There aren't like, it was weird because looking over, I've had that same impression coming out of it, and then I looked over the list of everything, and there weren't like any one game that jumped out at me as like, oh, I'm gonna die if I don't play this, except for Anthem looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we should, I guess, talk about the games then, right?
Yeah, so we could start with Anthem, which is how they ended the presentation with this, hey, it's going to be $500, but check out Anthem. This was the premiere of Anthem. Obviously, during EA's press conference, they showed like 30 seconds of it, and that didn't really do it for me, but this did it for me. The thing I saw, the main reaction was like, oh, BioWare's doing a Destiny.
Yes.
Which I don't know if is entirely fair. It is sort of a multiplayer kind of shoot and loot action RPG.
Yeah.
There was a moment where one of the players killed a big enemy and they dropped this big golden diamond that turned into a neat gun. All of which was like very shoot and loot. Like I'm into that, and I think BioWare could do a good job by that. It also looked really slick, and there was a lot of flying around with jetpack action.
Flying underwater with jetpacks.
Yeah, it looked really neat. That looked like something I could sink my teeth into.
The locomotion-y stuff was the most exciting part of that to me. The piece of the puzzle that I want them to get right, the last BioWare, I mean, this is like BioWare Edmonton, right? This is the next game from the people who brought us the first 3 Mass Effects. I would like to see more of the story half of it.
Sure.
That's the part that I'm like, that's the big question mark for me still.
I wouldn't be surprised though if it's like a pretty huge departure from anything they've done. Like this doesn't look. I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, this is what Mass Effect should be. I don't think this looks anything like.
Yeah,
Mass
but I
Effect.
was getting. I mean, it's sci-fi, right? But that's kind of the end of the comparison.
That's it. Yeah.
The opening shot of that first-person thing in that trailer we saw.
Yeah.
Gave me very, very strong, immediate like Firefly vibes more than anything else, but not like not like the Star Trek adjacent sci-fi.
Yeah,
Mass
and there was
Effect.
also some Titanfall stuff in there. You're in this big exosuit they call javelins that you can customize out to like match your play style.
I think they said there are 3 distinct classes.
Yeah, it
to choose from.
it looks neat. It looks like that's like Destiny-like games, I guess, are sort of like they've been my jam for a while now, and I'm excited for BioWare to like really have an earnest like shot at making one.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like that they will deliver that kind of game experience? Though? Because a lot of, I mean, so far their catalog is a lot of really sort of story-oriented RPG type stuff, but then mechanically, it never really quite feels exactly.
The only thing that I think sells it for me is I really like Mass Effect 3's multiplayer mode. Like I don't think that many people played it, but there was some really cool stuff going on in there, and I'm wondering if you'll be able to see like the path that led them from there to there. We shouldn't spend too much time talking about Anthem though, because it's not an Xbox One exclusive game.
No, they just happen to show it here.
They just happen to show it. Yeah.
Another game that's not exclusive that they showed for the first time here is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins. It's set in ancient Egypt. I don't know, like the setting, and I mean it all looks like Assassin's Creed slick. The thing that most stuck out to me is like, again, I guess another sort of comparison to Anthem here is like it looked really RPG heavy, more so that like obviously there's been an RPG undercurrent in all the Assassin's Creed games of like getting new gear, but there was like killing a guy for experience points and leveling up and unlocking a new thing, and then killing a guard and getting a golden legendary bow. Like
that was
whoa,
the thing
okay.
And that to me is actually potentially interesting because I think I'm not alone in that I've ignored the loot stuff in Assassin's Creed for the most part. I kind of just pick like a scythe and stick with that scythe. But if I could clearly delineate at a glance, like, oh, this weapon is rare and valuable and better than my other stuff.
And we were seeing leveled enemies too.
Right.
So it's the first time in an Assassin's Creed game actually walking by a group of enemies and seeing, oh, I probably can't handle one of them.
Yeah, and Pat, you made an interesting point about the behind-the-back nature of the combat looking a little slightly more Soulsian.
Less Assassin's Creed, more like For Honor-esque.
Yeah, like
For Honor,
parrying and stuff.
Yeah. The camera's down, it's lower behind your back. It's not that same Batman Arkham Asylum feel where you're taking people from all sides.
So just to move through like the other like big third-party games, because I really do want to talk about like what the Xbox is going to specifically bring to the table. They showed off the sequel to Shadows of Mordor, which looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
They went through this big orc encampment and recruited a bunch of folks to build an army to siege a tower. Looks neat, but again, not a console exclusive.
No,
PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is going to appear on Xbox One, and I guess Xbox One S this year, and then early next year it's coming to Xbox One X in its like new and improved form, which I'm like super excited about.
Yeah, you made the point, Griffin, while we were watching that like the player pool, when everyone's limited to a controller, like,
controller and a consistent gameplay experience because there's not as much like fluctuation between my PC quality sucks and mine is awesome.
People
like
are turning their graphics down to low to get an advantage.
Yeah.
Anymore. That's also not exclusive.
Yeah, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is not. It's launch exclusive.
console launch exclusive.
Console launch exclusive. We don't have any details about when it's coming to PlayStation 4 or Switch. What if though?
God, imagine.
We also saw for the first time a sequel to the Metro series called Metro Exodus, which looked really neat.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sort of like hunting these big nasty monsters outdoors. And outdoors doesn't seem like a deadly apocalypse hellscape as much as it has. You take off the mask when you go outside.
That demo, I think, was probably the most canned-looking demo.
A little
we saw
bit,
today.
yeah.
Like such an E3 demo.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that first Bioshock Infinite demo where it's just everything is so clearly hand
You open a
placed.
door and a bunch of doves fly out. It's like doves are going to be there every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the first-party games that are only going to be on Xbox. I've been looking forward to Sea of Thieves for a while. I got to play it for the first time at E3 last year, and it's really fun. But the only cross-section we've seen is this like co-op ship piloting stuff of just like, oh, man the sails and you get on the cannons, and like that stuff's really cool and it's really fun. But I wanted to know like what else am I going to be doing while I'm playing? And this was pretty much entirely that. There was footage of these 4 pirates on a team like exploring an island and following a map and solving clues to like dig up a treasure and then carrying that treasure back to the ship and swimming away from sharks and getting in a big ship-to-ship fight. Like it was it showed the whole loop, I feel like, for the first time.
Yes.
And it looked really hot. My only complaint is that the combat, like with not the ship-to-ship combat, but like shooting a skeleton with
gun
guns.
combat.
There's a lot of walking up to a skeleton at point blank range and just
Shooting it with a gun, it didn't look good.
It looked unsophisticated.
Yeah.
Is how I describe it.
The combat on the ship itself was fairly the bit between when he boarded it. At one point,
How he boarded it is the best shit ever, where they loaded him into a cannon and literally shot him onto the other. Like that's the stuff that looks really great, and I think
Once
it'll be
he
really
landed,
great.
Though, it was like
Then it's like bang, bang,
Yeah.
I got you.
I don't know why this stood out to me, but when they finally found the buried treasure and multiple players were slamming their shovels against it to dig faster, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a cute. And the whole thing was full of these moments of like kind of semi-forced co-op of like the character who's lugging the treasure chest
Yeah.
can't fight skeletons. So even if the combat's not super deep, the fact that your friends are forced to defend you while you're
Yeah,
lugging
it's really
this
neat.
chest, it's like that's cool.
There's
And little
also
touches like the
the best touch was the banana that he took
Okay.
to eat and get health back that he
Right.
just ate stem first,
Stem
fully
stem first.
unpeeled.
I would assume that's the bitterest, worst
It's
part
the
of the banana.
worst part of it. It's the part that you just got to power through to enjoy the rest of the banana
I guess
peel.
so. Do you want the good news first or the bad news
Right,
first,
it's,
basically?
it's all bad news. We also saw Forza Motorsport 7 for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of stuff where they have big car and they're like, look at this cool car, don't you want to have sex with it or whatever? And I was
Right.
like, no.
Not that much. The Xbox Originals initiative, where like
Yeah.
actual OG Xbox games are going to be, they said some, the phrase they used was some of your favorite original Xbox games. are
They
coming
specifically pointed out Crimson Skies, which like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I didn't know how bad I wanted to play Crimson Skies
That's a
until
cool
I saw it
pool.
running.
So this time around, this is, I'm guessing this will be exclusively digital sale, unless you're
Yeah.
going to pop an original Xbox disc in there. Like,
Probably just digital sales, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Other first-party games we saw, a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest called Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, there was like a 15-minute chunk that was just gorgeous 2D stuff between the
Yeah.
ID at Xbox block
Yeah,
and
so
Ori.
the idea at Xbox Block was, again, most of those I don't think are going to be exclusives. Another first-party game, State of Decay 2,
Yeah.
looks really cool.
I think I'm not alone in having never played State of Decay.
I played
but
the original State of Decay like just a little bit, but I know there's people who like adore it.
Totally.
And I think this one looks like really neat. Like the colony building stuff looks really cool, and I want to see like what the co-op looks like in this game.
Yeah, it's co-op
because I
now,
think
right?
that could be pretty hot. Is there any other first-party games that they?
You know what's? I mean, I think the absence of like Halo and Gears of War. Is
Yeah,
kinda
sure,
worth it. Like,
yeah.
This is, if memory serves, this is the first time we haven't even gotten the teeniest
Little bit,
morsel of
like-
no, not even a Halo.
Coming in
Wars or-
2021, finish the fight more.
Yeah, usually
finish
there's
it
at least
again.
like a Windows Phone game. There's some
Yeah.
shit. But this time there was just no Halo, no Gears, and I thought that was striking.
So there was other first-party stuff like they're bringing Lucky's Tale, Super Lucky's
Super
Tale.
Lucky's
That's
Tale.
really weird. That was an Oculus, and I don't know if it got ported to other VR platforms, but it was an Oculus like platform that you like
Yeah.
looked into the world, and I don't remember it being great, but it was like neat and novel that you could look down on it in this virtual. So like,
Yeah, it was a pack-in, right?
But you take
it
that
did.
away, and what is it?
What is it? Yeah.
It is a weird thing, and it also brought in a stark relief for me the fact that when they first talked about Scorpio, they talked about it having full VR support built in, and there were
Yeah, I
partners
would
at
thought
Oculus
for
and
sure they'd
stuff.
be like, and by the way, strap this dumb thing on your face.
Yeah, but not a. I actually, when I saw the little Lucky dude running around on the screens, I was like, oh, this is where the VR segment comes in, and then it just fully did not happen.
One game that I was kind of disappointed in terms of first-party games was Crackdown 3. I didn't like that much.
Yeah.
There was some cool stuff of like, I saw somebody pick up an agility orb,
just
and, that
freaked-
that like activated some sort of weird pleasure center in my brain.
Totally.
but-
I had this thought of like, when I watched you freak out about that, I had this whole discussion in my head with myself of like, are agility orbs actually good, or is it a pure dopamine like activation?
Sure, but the
They're
rest of
good.
it didn't. It like looks kind of.
It looks
ugly.
messy.
It looks
a little bit.
messy, and I didn't see any like big like destruction like buildings
They
coming
didn't
down.
show any of this when they first showed it a couple years ago. They're talking a lot about cloud computing. We're gonna
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
up buildings in really cool ways. They didn't show.
They didn't show any of that.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, I'm assuming we get to play that tomorrow, so I'm going
Yeah.
to reserve judgment. But I don't know that I'm getting an Xbox One X. Is
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying. Pat, are you sold?
I don't have any money. Do I look like I have money?
So that's it from us for the Xbox E3 2017 press conference. Obviously, this is the very first real big publisher press conference thing of E3. We've got a lot more to come, so stay tuned. We've got stuff tomorrow. We've got hands-on impressions coming, all sorts of gameplay stuff. Just really run-of-the-mill, traditional, hands-on video game E3 coverage for you to enjoy. So stay tuned, and remember to subscribe, and you can tune in to our YouTube channel or Polygon.com. We're also available on Apple News. You can subscribe on iTunes, I think, or Stitcher, and you can.
We've got a great Facebook page you can check out there. We're doing
Very
posts
good.
daily on there.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
It's so bad.
conversation that I'm overhearing as I'm playing this demo, I realize, or
Hello everyone, welcome. We are Easy Allies. It's E3, there's hype going around, and there's many games to discuss, and we're going to talk about some games right now. Some games we all played. We're going to start with Ian Hink.
hey,
Ian Hink, what did you play?
for the first day of this E3, I got to play some games. The first one I'll talk about last because you guys also played it.
Yeah.
I played Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania. But I think you guys already talked about that because other people got to play it. They're fine. Custom character controls a little weird. Whatever.
Did you get to make a custom character?
No.
Oh, okay.
He said that takes a long time. And
Sure, you
they,
bet.
they pre-made one.
You know what we should do when that game comes out?
Dude, wait. What? I have an
have the
idea
same
too,
idea?
but I don't know if it's
I
the
don't
same
know.
as your
Okay,
idea.
okay.
Hey, Damiani, you're not a part of this. Damiani, plug your ears for a minute, will you? Huh? Don't tell
Sorry,
Damiani.
you know what?
Don't tell
there's no
Damiani
time.
about this
There's no time.
idea.
Okay, go ahead.
Whatever.
Go ahead, Ian.
We should do a stream though where we just make characters over and over again. It'd be great. But yeah, those games are fine. I played Talos Principle in VR, which I'm really excited about.
What
Probably
VR
never-
platform?
Vive.
Cool.
And it was cool because I met the team behind it, and I was a huge fan of the Talos Principle, and he actually said that they all really liked my review of it. The only review I think I ever wrote for game trailers was
Yeah.
for Talos Principle.
Greatest one.
Best review.
Best review, yeah. I really like the Stanley Parable review. Because
That is a
Ryan
really-
let me get really
Yeah,
weird with
that
that
is a
one.
really good one.
Find that if it's still out there. The Stanley Parable review for game trailers was really weird. But anyway, it was a cool game, and the way they did movement is you can tap a direction on the little touchpad, and it'll move you a step in that direction, which was helpful. But if you click on the center, you get to teleport wherever you want, and then it'll dash you up there. And I found myself doing a mixture of both. And it was the first few demo levels, which are pretty easy puzzles, and I remembered them, so I kind of just like through it. But the funniest thing that happened was while I was playing it, so I was in the system, and then I was downloaded into the system.
You're in the system.
I was in the system, and a woman comes in. I just hear her. She's quite loud and very excited to be seeing all these people again, meeting a few of them for the first time. The team who made Talos Principle, and through the conversation that I'm overhearing as I'm playing this demo, I realize, or they say like, oh yeah, she was the voice actor for Dr. Brennan, who is the woman whose voice you hear throughout the entirety of the Talos Principle, which is hilarious because then a little later I found an audio file of Dr. Brennan, and she's very calm and very like understated. And then they had her in the game, and she was like, "There's a rainbow! This is amazing!" She's like so not like her character. It was awesome.
She was also wearing a headset?
They put her in the other system, and she was playing the
But
game
you
in
didn't know
VR
that
for the
before
first
you put
time.
yours on.
She came in while I had it on.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And so it was very funny because I didn't know what she looked like. I didn't know what was happening, and I was hearing her in real life and in the game, and it was like polar opposites. It was just really funny. And then I came out and like, just seeing that voice actor, it's always very interesting because like you're always wrong with what you think people look like from their voice acting. But I just thought that was funny that she came in and was very excited about the game. But yeah, it was really cool. I liked it a lot, and they're working on it, and it's gonna be cool. If you like the Talos Principle, play
How does
in
it
VR.
benefit from VR?
It was really cool to be able to look around and all that kind of stuff. And I'm bad at VR, so I was like, I asked him, I'm like, can you change the amount of distance that you step when you use the D-pad or the touchpad? And they're like, yeah, we can make that customizable. It's not that hard. And then the other guy goes, you can also walk around.
And did you?
I never did.
Oh, okay.
The entire time I stood in one place, I turned, but I never like moved my feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh right. So that's just me being an idiot. But it's really fun because you have the two Vive controllers, and you're teleporting around with the left hand, and then with the right hand you're just grabbing the
I went and saw Monster Hunter World twice. They had 2 different demos for them, and I made sure to go to both. And I want to let you know about it because I took just a few pages of notes here, and I want to share them just so you guys can get my first impressions on it, because this is a very different Monster Hunter. And I know a lot of people are excited about it, but also really worried. A lot of people keep telling me, oh, it looks like it's westernized and bad. First impressions, not the case. Everything I saw was rad looking. It was really exciting. So I'm just gonna go down all of my notes that I have here, and I apologize if this is very scatterbrained, but I was just jotting down everything I possibly could as I was watching this demo. So one of the first things I noticed is that it's still very mission-based. It was a hunting quest, timer showed up 25 minutes, and they were in this new area called the Ancient Forest. There was voice acting, like full voice acting, basically talking to the tutorial Gilmarm kind of characters. She was helping the player out, almost an overabundance of helpful tips that was there, but it was all fully voice acted. It was a very large map, and there is no load screens between different areas, which is excellent, but it's still numbered. So you can still tell your other players you're playing with, you know, he's going to 16, he's in 3 or 4. I got as high as 16 for the one map that I saw, and it was very large. There's a lot of winding paths too, and not as segmented arena-like, if that makes sense. So it's a lot more continuous, a lot more organic, which I think is a word they said, and I hate to repeat it here, but that's what it was. Now with your items, you now can click R3 to bring it up an item wheel to quickly change between on, instead of flipping through your different items on the D-pad or whatever. And even after you click the R3 and you bring up that weapon wheel, it'll show like 8 there. You can then use the 4 directions of the D-pad to quick change between 4 different kinds of quick actions, whether it's healing items, different ammunition, multiplayer specific items, your favorites, or the multiplayer communication is what it was. Aptonoth were back, Palicos were back. You now have these scout flies that you use to help track down your monsters that you're tracking. That's a big thing that they're really bringing into that. It's tracking, it's hunting down, finding their footprints, finding their scents, and these scout flies basically glow and try to help get you in the right direction, rather than kind of starting a quest and just knowing what area they start off in. This one was very much go find them. And there are multiple large monsters in the one quest they showed. There were 4 of them, and it looked like a little icon on the lower left showed you which one was your target one and which one you are currently tracking. They did show one of the new monsters called the Great Jagras, which is a large bearded lizard looking kind of creature, and it just shows up and swallows an Aptonoth whole, and then the player kind of chased after him and found its nest, where it then vomited up the entire Aptonoth, and then all the little baby Jagras showed up and they started eating. So didn't care about the player at all, it was just doing its own thing, getting food and bringing it over to its babies, which is a very cool thing just to make it look more alive. I noticed how much more minimal the UI is compared to other Monster Hunters. For example, your health and stamina meters aren't full bars. They just show little diamonds until you get into any kind of combat situation. Then it fully extends. So because of that, it makes me think that you have unlimited sprint or unlimited stamina until you're in an engagement. I don't know if that's the case for sure, but that's what it looked like to me. So after that is when it finally extended out and kind of went back to normal. You have a lantern on your belt at all times, so even when you're dark area, the area in front of you is still lit up, so you don't need to grab a torch item or anything like that anymore. You have a light source always on you. You have a sling, so you probably saw this a little bit in the reveal during the Sony conference, is that every weapon, no matter what weapon you're using, everyone has a sling on their arm. And this is that grapple hook that they're using to grapple and mount onto monsters or go up into higher areas. But you can also use that to throw objects. Stones, scatter nuts, a new type of projectile they had, and they use that for multiple things, whether it's hitting the monsters, grappling up, seeing like some fruit hanging up high above, and then hitting that with a slingshot to make it fall down so you can gather it. Stealth was much more in play in this game, like going up to a bunch of shrubberies and brush and being able to hide in that. You'll get like a little glowy icon around you letting you know when you're actually hidden. So it actually showed, the player themselves actually showed being able to stealth around monsters. Because before, they always could either instantly smell you or instantly see you, but no, he was stealthing quite a bit and like weaving between his legs. And Monster had no idea. So I really like how much they're emphasizing the stealth and actual hunting aspects for this game. Now, getting into actual combat, big thing that I noticed that a lot of people already talked about is that you start seeing damage numbers appear with everything you do. And a lot of people thought that's gonna like weirdly westernize it or whatever. I liked what I saw. I was a fan of it for a couple of reasons. One, it lets you know exactly how much damage you're doing with whatever weapon, where you're hitting them, because where you hit them in Monster Hunter has always been a big deal. Now you know exactly where their weak point is just based on the damage numbers. But even though the damage numbers, you still will not see the monster's health bar. So you're still it just gives you good feedback of how hard you're hitting, but not like letting you know how close you are to killing it. It's still based on your hunter instincts. I like that. Another reason why I like that is because another big change they added is that you can go back to camp and you can change your equipment. So if you're going and you hunt something and it's resisting your element, go get a different one. So I do like that feedback, and that's why I think the damage numbers works. Plus that way if you do a big hit and you get like the actual numerical value, it feels good. It's nice to see, and I saw some big numbers hop up, not from the player, but from other things. I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. So you still have jump attacks that you can use to mount monsters, only now, instead of just mounting them and like stabbing in the back, you can actually go to different points of them to stab. For example, mount on their back, mount on their tail, mount on the head, and still do the stabbing motion. I didn't see the knockover meter like they had in the previous games, like that blue meter. You still have to hold R2 to kind of grip on and not get shaken off as he tries to shake you off, but that meter wasn't there, so it seems to be more instinctually based. Like you just watch his animations and how he's reacting, and you just gotta know. Unless potentially the ring around the mini radar on the lower left was what indicating the knockback. It was hard to say. I don't know that for sure. There was no meter for absolutely, I can say that. So I don't know if there's no feedback or there's just another way of displaying it. They went through a cave area with a bunch of vines. He was able to like jump and swing across the vines very smoothly, much like Monster Hunter tries or 4 Ultimates or Generations. How you can kind of grab onto like the stalagmites and stuff in caves. This was a much faster though. It was just fluid swing going through this area. He was using a great sword, and I did see a couple new attacks for that. One of them being like a double great swing, where he did the charge attack and then went forward, and as it landed, he actually somersaulted forward off that land and did another swing after that. And that second swing is harder to hit because of the forward motion you have to do with it, but did even more damage than the initial swing. The main monster they were fighting was called the Adjanoth. That was the kind of T-Rex looking dude that you saw from the same trailer. When he gets pissed off, his like snoot pops out and grows. He also has a kind of wingdings that come out from behind his leg on top of his tail. Like those flare out, kind of like not quite raptor. I forget the name. The one dinosaur from Jurassic Park that spits on neck.
Alright, so Nintendo just finished streaming their Nintendo Direct for E3 2017, and while it didn't necessarily save E3 or however you want to put it, it did deliver some interesting showcases and a few surprises, and the games that they did showcase look fantastic. So I'm going to go through each game one by one and give you my thoughts and opinions on them. First up, we have Xenoblade 2. I really enjoyed Xenoblade Chronicles. I hated doing the side quests, but I thought the main storyline was really great. I thought that the world was incredibly beautiful and expansive, and it looks like they're just expanding upon everything that Xenoblade Chronicles did right. and taking it to the next level, which is all I want from a sequel. Moving on, we have Kirby, which was a nice little surprise. I always enjoy a little Kirby. Nothing that will change the landscape of the Nintendo Switch, but a cute little platformer, and everyone loves the gimmick of just being able to absorb enemies and taking their powers, essentially. A cool little gimmick this time is that you can now take control of certain enemies, or at least bring them to your side and use them as your allies, which is a cool little addition and should change the dynamic of Kirby's gameplay a bit. We were then greeted by Pokemon Creative Director, I believe, and he talked a bit about Pokken Tournament, which who fucking cares? But then he made a pretty major announcement, which we kind of knew about, but it's good to hear the words straight from the man. He said that there is a core Pokemon game being developed for Nintendo Switch, and he said that we might not hear about it for a while. It might be like a year before we hear about it, but all I needed to hear was that there was a Pokemon game in development, and I'm glad that they didn't showcase it this year, because I think this is the year of Mario, which we'll talk about later. But just as long as we know that there is Pokemon for Switch coming, that's all we need. And once they do finally showcase it, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna, like, demand for Nintendo Switch is gonna soar. So yeah, look forward to that day. Things just got better from there as Nintendo showed the number 4 that kind of slowly faded into the Metroid Prime 4 logo. Holy shit, I literally screamed hallelujah. After Federation Force, I was so pissed. I was beginning to lose hope that we might ever see a proper Metroid game. It looks like Nintendo listened, and we are indeed getting Metroid Prime 4. We have waited a very long time, but it's coming. It was just the logo, but that's fine by me. As long as they reassured me that it is coming, that's all I needed. I'm satisfied. I can't wait to see what they show of the game. I'm guessing next year. And then we saw Yoshi, and Yoshi's endearing, but I'm not big on playing Yoshi platformers. Fire Emblem Warriors, I'm not much into those warrior type games, although I know a lot of people liked the Zelda Warriors game, so I'm assuming Fire Emblem will be just as good, as, if not better. So for those who love these kinds of games, that's definitely something to look forward to. And then we moved on to Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC. It's the $20 season pass, which gives you 3 DLC packs. They talked about 2. DLC pack 1 has the Trial of the Sword, which looks pretty freaking insane and extensive and difficult. And then the second DLC pack is something called the Champions Ballad. They didn't explain much except that it's going to feature the 4 champions in Breath of the Wild, and they're going to play a big part in that. They announced some amiibos, which, God, great, more scalpers and more money out the window, but they look really cool, so for those who are into amiibos, that's fantastic news. Unfortunately, they didn't show DLC Pack 3, which is, I think, the one that features the new dungeon. That's the one that I'm actually looking forward to. But, you know, with all 3 DLC packs, I would say that the $20 Season Pass is worth it. I'm disappointed that Nintendo is actually doing Season Pass at all, but at least I feel like they're giving us our money's worth with the 3 DLC packs. So I'm looking forward to things like the Trial of the Sword, all the new features, the new items, all the masks, and the new hard mode. Maybe it'll revitalize the game and, you know, give us a whole new experience. Then they talked a bit about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which looks fantastic, I think. A big surprise in terms of how good it looks both visually and gameplay-wise. We saw a lot of it during the Ubisoft press conference, and Nintendo basically just showed off another trailer, which looks cool, and we got an August 29th release date, which is actually pretty freaking soon, and I'm actually looking forward to checking it out. Next up, we have Rocket League, another phenomenal title. I think this is one of those games that's perfect for the Nintendo Switch. It's just one of those games where you have to get together and play it together to have the most enjoyment out of it. I played it on the PlayStation 4 locally, and it's just such an absolute blast when you're drinking beer and just sitting down and screaming at each other's faces. And this is perfect. For Switch, Rocket League is, I think, it's gonna be the prime experience there. The graphics might be downgraded a little bit, but who cares? In terms of just the experience of getting together and playing locally, this is it. I mean, this is what I wanted, so awesome announcement. And of course, they concluded with none other than Mario Odyssey, which looks fucking phenomenal. This is all of Nintendo's creativity shoved and crammed into one game. Love the music, super jazzy, and kind of gave the trailer a very cool, unique personality. And I love what they're doing with the hat. So many cool, new, creative mechanics that open up a bunch of new doors for gameplay, especially the ability to just control anything you want by throwing your hat at it, whether it's a Goomba, a Bullet Bill, a fucking dinosaur, and even like those real people, the pedestrians walking the New York City ripoff. It just, there's so many new possibilities now that my mind just reels thinking about it. This definitely looks like the most open, the most ambitious, and just the craziest, most fun Mario yet, honestly. And I am absolutely ecstatic for October 27th, 2017, which is when the game releases. A month sooner than I thought it was gonna be, but that's fantastic. I think this is gonna be huge. I think it's good timing. Nintendo Switches are selling out everywhere, and Mario Odyssey is only gonna make that demand so much higher, and it's gonna make it so much more difficult for people to find a Switch on store shelves. But yeah, I'm so happy for Mario Odyssey. This is everything that I want in a video game. Just pure fun, pure craziness, pure gameplay, awesomeness. So overall, a great finish for Nintendo. While I don't believe this is necessarily E3 2017's quote-unquote savior, I know a lot of people have been generally underwhelmed by this year's E3. So while Nintendo didn't necessarily like save E3, if that's how you want to put it, I do think that in terms of what they had to show, I think it was perfect for the format that they went for, this Nintendo Direct. Just a short but sweet 30-minute live stream, no overhyping with a live press conference. They did that with the Nintendo Switch reveal because it was a big deal. But with this, I think they showed the right amount of games for the right format, this Nintendo Direct format, and for the right amount of time, like 30 minutes. I feel like that's what Bethesda should have done, a live stream, like a Nintendo Direct, a Bethesda Direct, if you will. I feel like if Nintendo would have presented this on stage, then yeah, it would have been a huge disappointment, but they didn't. They set it up nicely, just a short but sweet Nintendo Direct that highlighted everything they needed to for this year and beyond. So yeah, there you go, folks. My thoughts and opinions on Nintendo's E3 2017 presentation. And there's more. There's the Treehouse Live that you should tune into. I'm sure they're gonna showcase a bunch of gameplay for a lot of these titles that they announced or that they showcased during the Nintendo Direct, so look forward to that. Let us know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my opinions, if you enjoy my content, and if you like.
Услышишь гром и вспомнишь обо мне. Полоска неба будет твердо алой, а сердце будет, как тогда. В огне.
Sector is clear. Not clear! Not clear! everything we got!
Your next assignments, they are unusual.
Grab onto something! I'm trying!
What's your plan?
It's my plan, and I decide what goes down. You got that?
Yeah.
Come on, Leo!
My name is Joseph Fares, and I'm the writer-director of A Way Out. A Way Out is a story-driven co-op game. It is designed, played, and experienced only in split-screen co-op, which means you have to play the game with a friend, either online or on your couch. The game starts in a prison. You play as Vincent and Leo. You and a friend will get to know your characters and unfold their story together.
You don't know anything about me, man.
Maybe not. But Harvey killed someone very close to me. With or without you, I'm going after him.
Let me show you some of the scenarios in the game. On the right side, you see Leo, who's already in prison. On the left, you see Vincent, who just arrived. Now, if you look to the right again, you can see that Leo can be controlled, while Vincent is in a cutscene. Here is another one. Vincent and Leo are now in the laundry room. Your goal is to smuggle sheets using a laundry cart. You can approach the scenario in different ways. Either get the cart with Vincent.
You know, I got a good pack right here. I think it's got your name on it. It's, broken. I don't know.
Or with Leo.
Get over here, you idiot!
Yeah, but I think those two guys are just about to fight.
What the?
What? Who's him?
In A Way Out, you will experience something new all the time. Everything you do in the game is unique for that scene. We want you and your friend to be focused and engaged throughout the entire story. But let me tell you, this is just the beginning of what you will be experiencing in A Way Out.
Give me a gun!
Get him! Run! Relax, man. I got this.
Gregera, 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds. We intercept, then grab the cargo.
It'll be part of a convoy.
What are you thinking?
Quick hit and run. Get me close to the truck and I'll take care of the rest. Get me close to that truck before it hits the tunnel. The house won't let us anywhere near the truck. We gotta take out those cars. Get rid of these guys.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get that truck.
Look out! Shit! Damn it!
What the hell?
This guy's out of his mind.
There's something much bigger going on here.
What's the play?
Forget the tunnel. We get him before he reaches the city.
Guys, more house cars headed your way.
These guys are tougher.
Switching Tanks is what they are.
They're going down either way.
Take him out, Ty.
Guys, city's coming up fast. Jess, I've got a really bad idea.
Mac?
Ladder on the side. You can get up on his right.
It's now or never, Jess.
Do it! Keep it steady!
Jump!
Jess! Jess? You got this?
Jess!
I got this.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good job, team. Let's take this baby home.
Let's see what she can do. Okay, boys. Let's even the odds.
Play it on Xbox One.
feel now.
The dark is older than the light. At last a day dawned, and we rose with this first light. But that light was a betrayal, only fleeting. In its wake, the night returned to claim us.
Here we go, off the rails. But you know, it's time to raise our sails. It's freedom like you never knew. 20 bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon. Oh, this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. It's time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't feel a shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar. No one else can take me this far. I'm flipping the switch. Get ready for this song. Let's do the Odyssey. Odyssey, yes, see. 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 Odyssey, yes, see.
Story goes that when the world was young, everyone in Alrest lived on the World Tree, together with our Divine Father, the Architect. They called that paradise Elysium. You're a blade.
As the driver of the Aegis, can you take me to Elysium?
I'm in. Let's go to Elysium. I'll take you there myself.
Pyra! Here!
Cover me!
Got it!
We'll show you. We'll show you what me and Pyra are made of. Take this!
Now that you have come this far, there can be no turning back.
You and that sword can't be!
I'm guessing your goal is Elysium.
This blade he calls Pyra. Our flames hide something deeper.
What's the matter? Are you the Aegis, or aren't you?
I won't use that power, and I won't let you use it either!
If you know what you desire, you will have to show it. Not with words, but with your own strength.
Everyone, let's go!
Sometimes you need a hero. A sword swinging, fire wielding, stone cold hero with an insatiable appetite?
Mother's in danger!
If she's up there, then...
You two must keep going. No, I'm coming with you. I am Marth, the Prince of Altea. We've come here to save you.
Remember that you can rely on your friends. We're with you.
Get it together, you two. If you can't do this, who can?
You fought your way this far. There's nothing you two can't do.
No matter the danger, we can overcome it if we're working together.
All right, let's move out.
Working together, we can finish this.
Let's go!
told you not to go inside.
Play it on Xbox One.
A developer out of Japan, Studio Saizensen. They're known for a game called Code of Princess, and they've been making games for over 20 years. And we got in contact with them, we started talking to them, built a relationship, and they said, hey, we're making a fighting game.
Right.
We want to work with you. And we said, yeah, we'd love to. And right now what you're seeing is Blade Strangers.
Blade
Strangers. So it's a fighting game that takes some of the ideas of a Smash where you have different characters, Smash Brothers, where you have different characters who will be fighting against each other. The dynamics and speed of a game like Street Fighter 2 and Guilty Gear, but the easy inputs of Smash Brothers, where with Street Fighter, somebody's trying to do a Zangief. It's very intricate.
Yeah, it really can
And the
be.
barrier of entries, it changes.
It does
if I've been playing
fluctuate.
for 2 months and you've been playing for a day, I'm gonna just
Annihilate.
Right. But if you know the inputs, just like Smash, and Smash is a deep game, but if you know the inputs, it changes the dynamic of how you're playing. So with Blade Strangers, they took that same idea and the same approach, where they took a traditional fighting game and they said, why don't we make it so that the moves are a little bit different but easier to do and more direct, and you still have combos and you still have the foot play and all these super moves. And Saizensen has been developing this for over a year and a half. It's 3D backgrounds with what looks like, we'll go ahead and go into versus mode now, and it's 3D backgrounds with 2D, what looks like 2D characters, and it's got characters from Code of Princess, from other games, including which we'll see later. You got Curly Brace right there from Cave Story.
Yeah.
So it's if you know you're
That's
gonna
pretty
you're gonna
rad,
see
man.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty rad.
That's awesome.
So we'll go ahead and pick any characters. We'll show you Curly later right here, and you have Princess Solange right there, who is the main character out of Code of Princess, and this character is really interesting because Princess Solange was created and designed by Kino Nishimura, and she is one of the old school Capcom Street Fighter 2 artists.
Oh man.
That's really cool. Yeah, so it's pretty rad. So right here you see these two characters right here, and although it looks 2D, the original characters are actually made with 3D models, and they have a pretty great proprietary process to turn the characters into 2D sprites, and then they hand touch everything. So then you get.
This is actually a 3D model.
So it was a 3D model,
and
then
they made it into 2D.
They made it into 2D, but then the background stays 3D.
What's the benefit of doing that? Did it make it better?
It makes it better in the sense that when you're doing pixel art or when you're doing 2D art, every time you're drawing every frame, you have to draw every frame. So, but with a 3D character, you model it once, you rig it, and then you animate it, and then you have that character data again, and then you can reanimate it, so you don't have to keep making the character over again.
Because this is a very
faster.
hard process to make it like this, right?
The
old way. The old way.
But even this is a bit of a.
It's a big challenge.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty big challenge. But you can see right here, even though the game's not done yet, it's pretty far along in terms of the look and the feel of it, and allows you to zoom in and really work in a 3D space. And they've been working with us on
everything
this.
that I wish this Saturn would have done right.
Yeah, this is like a Super Saturn right here, and you're going to see it on Switch and PS4, also on PC and in Japan arcades as well.
It's gorgeous, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll let them know you like it.
We saw on the menu screen you had a bunch of different modes as well. Are you going to be expanding this into a story where these characters have gotten together?
That's right. Absolutely. There's a story mode where when you play the story mode, similar to Street Fighter 4 when you're playing, you'll see cutscenes and you'll have discussions with the character, what's going on, and they're kind of clashing, and the different characters want to know what the motivation is or why they're fighting. So I'll keep the story a little bit secret for now, but it's a typical fighting game. So most of the appeal is going to be playing story mode, but playing with your friends together, and also this will have online. So you'll be able to play online, and that's another great bonus to having sort of non-multi input.
Right.
Is it reduces the chance for missed input for lag.
Oh, that's very nice.
This is amazing, everything that you're telling me.
Thank you.
Because I know how hard it's been and how hard it is to create an indie studio. And you're talking to me about online multiplayer and fighting and stuff. That's amazing,
I love
dude.
it. This is my dream. This is
a big deal.
This is all, and right here the soundtrack. So it's really cool because it's a total collaboration. We have a Japanese development team doing the game, and the soundtrack is by Matthias Bossi and John Evans, who did the soundtrack to The Binding of Isaac.
Okay.
So it's got a really great, fantastic, like hard rocking, like speed metal soundtrack. It's really, really cool stuff that they've put together for all the different characters. And they've been working through translation, but working directly with the studio, saying like, okay, I'd like the sound like this, or I'd like this song like this. So it's a lot of fun. And right now, they're the Japanese studio, actually, even over the weekend, they're doing all the VO
Of
in
course
Japan.
they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. They don't stop, man.
They don't stop.
No way.
Yeah.
This game should be done next week then, right?
And that's why you see the Japanese right now. So that's
right.
That'll obviously be English once it gets to the US right here.
So I know what story mode is. I know what training
What's
mode
up,
is. What would a
Hercules?
mission mode be, or if you can share?
So mission mode has different various tags. So story mode is specifically just kind of like a traditional arcade mode where you have the story and you have the cutscenes and then you have an arcade mode. And then mission mode specific things, like if you remember games like Tekken where you had to kill 100 enemies or do specific tasks. Street Fighter 3 had a training mode where you had to do specific combos and certain things. So that's what the team's doing there. Whereas the training mode here is more like a free play mode in that you'll have a dummy or an AI that either does whatever you want it to do or nothing, and then you can just kind of beat on them and do combos. This is
That's
probably
so many options.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
For people who like fighting games, they really need certain things to kind of take it to a competitive
you need the
level.
Practice room. You need to just execute those combos over and over. You talked about like wanting to avoid some of the problematic depth elements of some of the heavier fighting games,
tamer.
but you did want to keep this really technical and competitive. So where did you sort of draw the line there? I mean, you use Smash as a reference, but like, what do you see as the upper limit of this game?
Nothing special, you know. I'm just hardcore casual.
To, I would say, Smash in terms of
enjoying game
and what they were aiming for in terms of like playability and ease for doing the inputs. And as far as the game, they're fans of old SNK fighting games, Street Fighter. The Street Fighter series goes without saying. Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue. So, and that's where they tried to take the game. And this isn't their first game, it's first fighting game either. They've done another game called Blade Arcus, which is pretty interesting because they worked in collaboration with Sega.
Tamer.
Take characters from the
one with the pet.
Wow.
Which is an old Genesis game.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with that.
And with their second game, they've taken what they learned from Blade Arcus and definitely improved on it. Like right here, you'll see there's a lot of technical moves where you have EX style moves, wake up attacks, reversals. Right here, here are the circles, counters. So there's
dash.
Yeah, it's got a dash. Curly will have a sort of an aerial dash to coincide with Cave Story, but it's very much a ground game, whereas a game like Guilty Gear, which I've mentioned, it has a lot of the speed of Guilty Gear, but it won't have as many of the aerial combos and they're working to make sure that there's no infinites because that kind of makes or breaks a game, right? It's like you have infinite, it's like, okay, great, I'll wait.
Thanks for the consideration.
I'll wait here for 99 seconds. Let me go eat my pizza.
Oh, there's so much personality from each of these characters. I mean, they're doing really different. I saw the girl was dropping a fish.
Yeah, she'll drop. It's a giant blowfish.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, awesome. Delicious. We should have some blowfish in Japan next time we go.
Isn't that like the poisonous one?
Yeah, if you get it wrong,
I think I ate some of it and it's made my tongue numb.
And you're still here.
I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I would do it. I mean, do you know?
You want some blowfish?
I mean, the fugu? No thanks.
Yeah. Is it in your bag? Is it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you got a big bag over here.
You got a big bag.
Maybe that's what you dip your games in.
That's
why it makes my tongue numb when I lick your games.
Yeah, they're there waiting for you.
Yeah, they are. They're so tiny and cool, man.
Yeah, Nintendo apparently, I guess the 3DS cartridges were the right size not to make them taste terrible. When you get smaller with the Switch, they figure little kids are going to put them in their mouth.
Right. So they make them taste bad.
They make them taste bad.
What?
This is I forget the name, but it is literally the most bitter chemical or element known to man.
This is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
This is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
This is amazing.
It's a real thing.
Okay.
So they did it on purpose, presumably so a little kid doesn't swallow it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Wow. You are a man of much knowledge, sir.
It's the Google.
It's the Google. It's because you were licking the game too.
I was like, what is going on here? And you can't resist once it's like, oh, smell the sock. It smells terrible. You can't resist. It's like, oh
yeah,
this tastes terrible. I'm definitely gonna try.
Wow, amazing. As we sit here looking at one of your probably like prideful moments making a fighting game.
I love this. It's already really. Even the first time I played it last summer, it was already really fun to play. And as they keep tuning it, in the next few weeks, they're going to be taking it to certain test locations in Japan. Let's see if we can get Curly in here right now. Maybe this is a good time to see Curly. And Curly's actually not complete, but we'll go ahead and do her anyway, so you can see what a Cave Story character looks like in a fighting game.
So Curly's inspired by Cave Story, but are these other characters inspired, or are they looking like these?
So the other characters are from various games, as I mentioned. So quite a few of them are from Code of Princess, and then there's other characters from other games, which we'll announce at a later time.
Okay. Cool.
So right here you see Curly and Solange, and this is in Sand Zone, which is a scene, literally a level out of Cave Story.
Oh wow!
Do you have a favorite?
I like the way that Curly plays already. Solange is pretty fun.
I will try to remember.
There's a character called Helen that has a. Ooh, wow, nice reversal.
Yeah.
There's a character named Helen that has a shield and sword, and she plays like a really fast rushdown character, kind of like a Fei Long, or that kind of character where you kind of want to keep going. And those are the kind of characters I usually like. I'm not a projectile character in fighting games. I really like to keep going. I lose really fast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
of course.
I just like getting beat down.
That's something that sucks, man. You play against someone like you're talking about. 2 months, bro. There's people.
I will not stop streaming now. Just I'm fooling around with streaming. It's one button to click and start streaming. You know, easy.
Every detail, every frame.
Yeah.
And it'll get to that level with this game. You reduce, as I said, the barrier of entry for how you do inputs, and all of a sudden you can say like, hey, and they say like, oh, I don't want to play fighting games, they're too complicated. It's like, oh, well, here's how you do attacks. It's like Smash. And you'll probably get a lot more people interested in at least giving it a shot and having fun, playing competitively, but also, filthy casuals can have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Have you had any pros come and mess around on this yet?
Not yet. We're finishing up all the characters, and we have some time set apart to bring in some of both in Japan and in the US, bring in some of the pros, give it a shot, and get some input, because it's really important for us to have them play the game and give us a feedback. And also, even without them actually giving us a feedback, more importantly, us watching them and seeing, like, what are there any abuses? Are there any holes? What do they, are there any attacks that are too good that they keep taking advantage of? And that's, those are things that we'll want to take care of, because when you're playing at home, it's fun. Everybody takes it easy. But when you go online, and if somebody is just picking the best character and is unstoppable, that's no fun for anyone.
Right.
So we want to make sure that during development, we do our best to see what the pros are doing and how they like it and how they're playing to adjust it.
Are you going to be keeping up with it after release?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we'll be updating with patches. We'll be improving it, where possible, optimization, including probably new characters.
Wow, that's the best news.
Yeah.
I love that my games are all alive now.
Yeah.
Like every time I turn them on, there's a little bit
Yeah,
more.
it's like a gift.
Yeah.
And unlike Capcom, we don't charge for characters. Oops.
Well,
Yeah.
You didn't just bring us this game.
I didn't just bring you this game.
You didn't just bring us this game.
I brought you chocolate.
Okay, you brought us chocolate, but you brought us something else. You brought us...
No, I brought you chocolate.
That's it? This is another chocolate. What is this?
This is Moldovan
I gotta
chocolate.
ask you
It's from Moldova.
again. There's no shellfish in this, right?
There's no shellfish in it, no.
I have to ask
Where's
every
your pen?
time.
You got your pen?
I got my pen in my
Okay,
bag,
good.
yeah.
There's no shellfish in it for sure.
What else did you bring us?
You
brought us something really cool, man.
I brought you the Binding of Isaac.
You brought us the Binding of Isaac.
And then kind of different button combinations with that, and modifiers. And then basically once you build enough bravery points, and the bravery points you can see in the lower middle where it says 1,000 on the screen.
Okay.
Once you build up enough of that, then you unleash HP attacks. And the HP attacks are what takes away opponent's HP.
Okay.
And so the ultimate goal is just to defeat the opposing squad 3 times. So you can defeat the same guy 3 times, or defeat 1-1-1.
I see. Talk about the crystal here.
Ooh, yeah. It's not a Final Fantasy without crystals,
no, exactly,
right?
yeah. It's a key component.
So that's a summoning core. And so the way that works in this game is you can destroy it, and then that will fill up your summoning gauge faster. And so once you fill up your summoning gauge, see in the middle how you're calling in your summon?
Yeah.
Now you can call in the iconic and legendary summons like Shiva and Ifrit and Odin and Bahamut, things like that.
So like this summon animation, are all players seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That affects everyone. And then talk about the arched line that's connecting you to other players. Is that who you're targeting?
Kinda not really. So the arc line is actually who's targeting you. So if the line is blue, then that means somebody's targeting you. But if the line turns red, then that means they're attacking you. So you can either block or start kind of dodging.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said there are online battles here.
There are online battles.
And voice chat? So you can communicate,
yeah, voice chat,
communicating with
yeah.
your teammates there. So what are some different strategies that you find people using?
So there's a lot of kind of different strategies you can do. You can kind of divide and conquer.
Sure.
There's 4 different classes actually. There's Vanguard, Assassin, Marksman, and Specialist, and kind of each are fit to play your own style.
I see.
Kind of like how different MOBAs or other kind of like team-based kind of shooters have kind of categories.
Sure.
So it's kind of fit for however you want to play.
Sure.
But yeah, that was the first battle. But we brought one more that's a little bit different.
Okay, yeah, well, they're gonna load that up here. You're also working with Team Ninja on this one, is that right?
Yeah,
so
Team Ninja from Koei Tecmo.
Okay, and obviously they have a lot of experience with combat in video games. So
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really a joint collaboration between Team Ninja and the Square Enix team. But yeah, they're really a great partner to work with, but I mean with their credibility with the Dead or Alive franchise and the recently launched Neo. So they bring a lot more kind of credibility into the fighting game space.
So what's the environment we're seeing here?
So we are on the battle stage of Cornelia from Final Fantasy 1, and so the main player is playing as Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy 1.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
to see this rendered in full 3D.
Rather than the 8-bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Little guy.
So I know you're not talking about all the full character roster and the environments, but the whole idea of the game is you're pulling in characters from all of Final Fantasy's history, right? And maps and environments, right?
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing. So we have characters all the way from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 14, and stages kind of from across the legacy as well. But some other things kind of on the UI and HUD that you can kind of take note of. So in the lower left, there's like 3 kind of circles that you see. So what those are your EX skills. And so you can equip different EX skills based on your playstyle, whether they're like regenerative or they provide attack boosts or things like that. So that kind of modifies your kind of gameplay style.
I see. Yeah. Can you talk to us about how you go about choosing the characters? Do you try to pick fan favorites? You try to find some lesser-known characters that you think would be really cool in the game?
Yeah. So again, I think it really fits your gameplay style on kind of who you want to choose.
No, fazieron.
I think you can choose either your favorite character or one that is a little bit more like yourself. Like kind of assassins.
But I was meaning more like, how do you choose characters to be in the game, to include in the game?
Lost
history, so like, okay, I'll pick this guy, this girl.
Yeah, so I can't really kind of go into too much detail on why certain characters were included or why certain characters were excluded. I think, at least for now, there's characters from 1 all the way until 14, and there's at least 1 representative from each. How that specific character came about, I think that's a much longer story. Which I'm not able to go into.
I understand
right now. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you don't apologize to me. Apologize to them.
I know.
Sorry,
guys,
no, it's
sorry.
okay. You mentioned there's 4 classes, right?
Yeah.
And so are the characters divided up between those 4 classes?
Yeah. So
смотри,
the 4 clips we brought through today. The next 2 will kind of go into kind of different classes and kind of how they play and stuff.
Save that for then.
Yeah.
If a viewer out there has played the arcade game, are they going to feel right at home here? Are they going to recognize this?
At home, I think some of the button prompts are going to feel a little bit different. So in Japan, it's on an arcade cabinet, so the button prompts are a little bit different, whereas these ones kind of have the standard PlayStation 4 square, triangle, circle.
I see.
Yeah.
How much content would you say is new from the arcade game or has been added?
It's hard to say kind of percentage-wise, but I would say there is going to be different content that's coming out for the PS4 version.
What about people that played the PSP game? Is this still going to feel...
Steam labai lagina.
Recognize immediately Final Fantasy characters and the bravery combat system. But everything else will feel very different. So what we were looking to do is really compare like apples to apples on kind of what's the same and what's different in the PSP version, and it's so different. Certain things are going to feel familiar, like the Final Fantasy characters and the bravery combat, but so many things are going to feel different.
Sure.
And I think the main thing that you're going to immediately recognize is the 3 versus 3 combat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, bringing the game to PlayStation 4 opens it up to a whole new
Lėčiau biškį
audience who
fišinuosi.
never played the city before. So what would you say is the best way to approach this game for them? People that never played the city
Gal
before.
paranoja tau.
I'd say
Nežinau, gal taip atrodo, žinai, labai daug baltų žuvų ištraukta.
Is there a good character to start with? Who's the best here to like?
So I think one of
Bet nuo Zarkos jau pasidariau 5 scrollus.
is actually Cloud Strife.
Sure.
And that's the first clip we brought today.
Ancient
Okay.
Relic.
Is that what we're bringing up next? Is that
That's what we got.
That's good timing.
Good timing. So what we did is we actually simplified down the screen so you can kind of see a little bit more about Cloud Strife. And this is actually the first time we're ever debuting a really in-depth look.
Okay, at Cloud.
Yeah.
Kas gali būti blogiau? Mušiau ir batarkės visiems
That's
mal.
where the PSN ID would go.
Kapelis?
Okay, yeah.
Klavos.
All of the characters here are nameless boy, nameless.
Papės dešinį laiką nuspaudęs į bėgą.
Idealist over there. Yeah. Okay. So those are going to be your PSN names.
Yeah.
Bėgau greit pasakyti batarkę.
Alright, so how does Cloud play?
So Cloud is a Vanguard class. And the reason why he's one of the more straightforward characters to play is there's not a lot of tricky things to do, and I'll explain why that is when we show the next character.
Okay.
So his moveset is pretty straightforward and it's pretty easy to master. What we're showing is kind of his full range of moveset. And this is the next character. This is what I want to show you.
This is Lightning.
This is Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
So for those who have played Final Fantasy 13, people will remember the paradigm shift.
Sure.
So one of the really, really cool things about Dissidia is they're taking certain elements from the original games into this. So if you look right where it says 3616,
Ну ка,
right to the left of it,
интересно.
it says Rab.
Давай.
So basically that's taking from the paradigm shift system in Final Fantasy 13, and you can switch.
Pas mus darbė tenais
And they brought that back.
apvalymą darė.
Basically, she has 2 full different movesets.
Kokį
Tai,
valymą?
So the commander
nu, ten visokių klavų, pelių.
Ai.
it's a little bit more melee, it's a little bit more
Tai
focused.
ten batarkės nusėdo ant klavos ir išmetė.
It's pretty cool, and that's why light becomes a little bit more of a challenging character to play as.
Tipo galvoju, kad nepataisome jau.
Nu jo, tipo, žinai, beveik. Naujo. Logitech. Zaivys, batarkės tik nusėdo viską. Šiukšlingai.
If you're playing solo, there's a single player mode. So if you're, I guess that means that if you're playing online, you have to have 3 players.
Or it'll auto match you.
It'll auto match you. Yeah, I wondered if you could speak to the online system.
Peržiūrinėjau visas 3 trailerius.
We're not quite ready to go into exactly all of the different kind of gameplay modes. I wish I could go into every single one. But
the game is just announced, so I understand you have to hold some stuff back for later. Who are we seeing here? Who is facing against?
So we wanted to bring a different look at Clap.
Hi there, my name is Richard May. I was a programmer on the original Rogue Trooper, and I'm here to talk to you about Rogue Trooper Redux. Rogue Trooper Redux is a remaster of the original Rogue Trooper game that came out in 2006. We've taken the original gameplay and added up-to-date graphics,
Rogue Trooper
improvements,
Why?
mapping, dynamic lights, dynamic shadows, everything you need to bring it up to date, make it look as good as the other games out there right now. We've also tweaked the gameplay slightly with a few little additions to bring it up to date to modern standards, changes to the controls, and to bring the game in line with what you'd expect with one double-based shooter. We're looking at some pre-beta footage, as it says at the top there. It's from the opening sequence of the first level, introducing you to the characters in the game. So we've got Rogue here, who's just dropped into the port zone battle area. We've got a whole battle going on here. The Naughts have ambushed the Souther GIs, the genetic infantrymen, and Rogue is now fighting for his life. And here comes one of his colleagues. This is Gunnar, one of his brothers in arms, one of the other genetic infantrymen that you'll meet in the game. Gunnar is a character from the original comic, as is all the genetic infantrymen you'll meet in this, and he will end up as a biochip in your gun, so he's aptly named. The comic pulls no punches there, it's got no apologies for making the characters as named as they are. You've got Bagman, you've got Helm, and you've got Gunnar. You can guess where they all end up. Each of the genetic infantrymen has a biochip, which is, records their experiences, all their battlefield knowledge, things they've done. And when they die, they live on inside the biochips. So you can, as you're about to see here, when Gunnar dies, spoilers,
Kažkaip keistai labai daro tuos senus žaidimus, kai perleidžia dabar naujų konsolių. Faktiškai nieko nepakeičia ir ant geresnį grafiką paleidžia.
Apie ką čia?
Apie įvairius žaidimus, kuris leidžia. Dabar Rogue Trooperį leidžia. Kažkokį ten su lėktuvais. Tipo backwards compatibilities, bet nežinau.
Gunnar's bleeding out on the floor here. He needs to be saved. He's got 30 seconds to get the biochip out of
Backward compatibility, suprantu, kad paėmė seną žaidimą ir gali žaisti naujos konsolės, o ne tai, kad iš naujo perleidžia. Turi pasisiųsti nusipirkti.
Poor Gunnar. Just a bit gung-ho, I'm afraid. He was pretty much destined to die from minute 1, but that's the way the comic has it. That's the way it needs to be.
Dabar šis būna neišeina iki galo, jau išleidžia.
This is one of the other genetics fighting a
naujos kartos bėda.
I'm afraid this doesn't end well, but it does leave you this hand.
Čia kai su to buvo, nepamenu, kažkokiu žaidimu. Skandalas didelis. Ir išleido ir taip...
No Man's Sky?
Jo. Kur ten tipo multiplayer galėsi žaisti. Tik tai vienas kito nesutiksit, net per daug didelis metas. Bet ten pasirodo šis nieko negali žaisti.
Didelis ambicijos buvo.
No Man's Sky kalbė?
Jo.
Yeah.
Hey you! Stop right there!
Čia paskui, kaip suprantu, nes žmonės sako, tu biškai pagerino jį, bet jau žinai, pirminę įspūdžią sugadinti, aš taip pavyzdžiui neprašaisiu jau.
Oi, ne, aš ne. Nu, tai jis buvo žadėtas, kad bus multiplayeris. Net kai buvo išleisti tie DVD, ten Blu-ray, ten PlayStation'as, tai buvo pažymėta, kad multiplayer. Paėmė užklijavo, kad single player viskas.
Tai tipo visai ne multiplayeris apie šis?
Nu, single playeris yra.
Tai be ryšių?
Nu, tai va tam reikalas. Ten galvoju visi, o, sutikti draugelį, pažaisti. Ten češino, kad, tipo, nu jo, tu gali žaisti su draugu, bet tu net nesusitiksi jo, nes per daug didelė planeta. Kaip to nenužudė dar kūrėjo to.
Everything is fine. What the hell am I doing here? It was just a nightmare. I was there. Get back. You will have to rest. No, but the dreams, they were real. Only time can heal your affliction. 2, 1.
Bet ilgai reikės laukti gero Call of Cthulhu žaidimo.
Apie ką tu čia žinai?
Aš 3 trailerius visus peržiūrinėjau. Tai čia Call of Cthulhu išeina žaidimas irgi.
Aš pastebėjau kažkaip, kaip per Steamą paleidot, per streamą tą Black and Swordą, tai kažkaip lagint pradėjo dažnai. Bent jau man.
Kokį Black Swordą? Žaidimas čia?
Nu, Black Desert tai yra.
Tai jo, čia belia kokie lagai, net pilna žmonių. Nepaveža, tai serveriai.
Nu, taip ateini, farmint kažką, dar kažką daryti. Pys, tokie lagai įsijungia, ten paspaudi, ten, bet kerti medį 10 kartų. O dabar tas pats vyko. Spaudant NPC, короче, nevyks.
Net žvejybą lagina, tai žinai.
Čia man atrodo serveris lagina.
Tai jo, tai sakom.
Ne anksčiau tam nebuvo, kol neišleido. Nesąmonė.
Pagavo žuvį, bet man net nerodo inventoriai, kad pagavo ją, karočią, tai dingo.
Da, iš viso, ne, spaudžiu NPC. 3, 4. Pasispaudžiu.
guess we just gotta make sure we don't die, though, right?
Heretic! God judged you, and I am your executioner.
What's that? It comes from the rats. Don't touch it.
The Inquisitor will give us a reward if we catch the whole family.
Jo, žiauriai dabar pradėjo laginti.
I don't like this.
Nepagaunu žuvų.
Hey, what's that noise? Stay close. Oh, no.
Tyčių jiems kažkoks.
Stay close to me. I think we're in the home. Sugar, no!
Dar vakaras yra, tu labiau ten šis žmonių turėtų mažai. Latau. Aš žiūrėjau čia vieną laidą, kaip ten servus, kai kūrė, per kur leidžia. Tai geriausiai tai yra tam Briuselį serverį. Bent jau Europoje.
Kad rinktis negali vis tiek, tai koks skirtumas.
Kaip?
Kad negali rinktis, per kur jungtis, tai koks skirtumas.
Ne, nu tai jo čia pagal tą kompaniją, kokį renkusi servis. Bet kai žiūrėjau tenais tą dokumentinį filmą, tenais iš viso ten, jie turbūt sakė ten per metus laiko buvo gal vieną kartą minutė atsijungė. Tas servis restartavo viskas. Tai net jeigu net elektrą dingtų, tokį servą veiktų. Savo generatorius turi.
I'm not exactly knowledgeable of the world outside my castle, and I don't have much experience to speak of.
You have a...
Black Desert, ką žinau, kur nors Rumunijai ten iš padvalo paleido. Geriausiai, kai skaičiau, tai tie azijietiški servai, bent jau jeigu tu tenais, aišku. Pavyzdžiui, šis buvau nustebęs, kai Japonijai buvau, tenais yra, kaip ten internetas sutvarkytas. Yra tie pocket Wi-Fi. Tenais tu net negauni, tai jeigu nori susakyti internetą, tau net nepraveda jokių laidų. Tu gauni tokią stotelę, kuri yra tenais ta 4G, dabar jau 5 išeina. Jau pasijungi ir tenais tu nesveiką internetą gauni. O ten ta stotelė, tas Wi-Fi'as, tai tokia kaip tavo pusė telefono dydžio. Arba tarkių pasijungi ir visą dieną, kur nori tampais iš namų. Anglija tai šis nesupras kažkoks akmens amžius internetas.
Iš viso Anglijai kaušai yra.
Jo, tai šia su Virginu kiek kariavau, dabar perėjau į tok-toką tas internetas, bet pradžio buvo Virginas, tai aš ten. Jie ten nesupranta, jie ten tipo, jo, mes naudodam internetą, žinai, bet ten nesvarbu, kad ten lagas, belekoks, tipo, tas
Saka, žinai, tipo, sakau, ble, jūsų lieps internet, sakau, aš jau savaitę, sakau, ką savaitę, jau pusę mėnesį, žinai, čekinu kiekvieną dieną. Tai karočią, saka, maždaug per LANą yra viskas normaliai, naudok LANą. Tai sakau, aš nenoriu LANą, aš Wi-Fi noriu. Tai už Wi-Fi'aus ryšių mes nesakom, maždaug bye.
O ta prasme, lėtas Wi-Fi'us. Ant greičio?
Ne, tai gerai, patys routerį duoda.
Jo, downloads nukrent, karočią, iki ten 5 megų, karočią, iš 150 megų.
Tai Wi-Fi'us netraukia daugiau?
Ne, jis iki 50 traukia. Nu, priklauso, šiaip maks.
Nu, žiūrint, koks pas tave devaisas ir koks routeris, nes...
Nu, jo.
2 GHz, man atrodo, tai 1,5 MB iš vis greitis.
Ne, tai man tai geriausia, tai aš paskambinau, sako, tu ten, žinai, tipo, eik į puslapį, įves kodą, naik ten, išardyk kažkokią dėžutę, ten, pakeisk filtrą, sakau, iš kur tą filtrą, nu, sako, o tu turi filtrą, žinai, tipo, tą, sakau, nu, turiu, pasižiūrėsiu, filtrą pakeičiu. Gal tavo laidas, sakau, blėt, sakau, net laidą nusipirkau naujas, vaizduojas, pakeičiau laidą, nes jie ieško priežasčių, žinai, ko daugiau prie tais prisipys. Sako, pajūk mėlyną laidą ten prie kažko. Sakau, nėra čia tokia mėlyna. Žalia tada, sakau, nėra žalia, sakau, visi pilki. Nu, karoči, susipisinėja kaip... Paskui sako, skambink tenai, sakau, tai kokia, tu velnės, sakau, dirbi čia.
Karočią, va dabar download speedą padariau per Wi-Fi, tai 9,5 megus įvaro. O karočią tada vos 5 įvarydavo, ir ten jie man paspruota, karočią. Iš viso ten jie kaušai, tai Anglai yra, karočią, jau nežinau, 6 metai Anglijai, karočią pas daktarą, kurva, nueini su kokiam problemom, tai kurva kokiu arba antidepresantų išrašo, arba kurva paracetamolę. O nesvarbu, žinai, ką vidurius puoči.
Žinai, negali sakyti per visus,
Kad
aš pavyzdžiui.
daktarai kaušai, tai tikrai yra, net GP būtent yra. Visiškai kaušai sėdė. Čia net patys anglai visi patą žino, žinai.
Nu, žinai, aš galiu biškį paprieštarauti. Aš dabar nesiniai ligonį.
Tai ne ligoninė, kalbam apie GP.
Tai va tam esmė, buvau GP, bet mane išsiuntė ligonį, nes aš galvoju irgi ten tipo, ai, duos paracetamolę.
Gal labai akivaizdi buvo problema.
O taip, ir išsiuntė, sako, žinai, sorry, tipo, bet matau, kad pas tave, žinai, problema yra, tai tiesiog išrašė, paskambino į ligoninę, sako, siunčiame ligoninę.
Nu, o aš karočią...
Jeigu labai akivaizdi, tai gal žinai.
Aš karočią nuvažiavau skaityk su apendicitu, ketvirtadienis buvo čia prieš porą metų. Karočią nuvariau su apendicitu, garantuotai 100% apendicit, žinai. Ir jie maždaug sako, jo, čia tavo apendicit tavi reikia operuoti. Tai sakau, kada čia išoperuosiu, buvo ketvirtadienį vakar. Jis išoperavo, karočią, šeštadienį ryte. Apendicit pratrūko, tai vietoj vieno randa, karočią, papildomai 5.
Nu, sako, randai puošia.
Na, po to, karočią, irgi čia dabar jau pusantrą mėnesį į darbą einu, nes, karočią, kažkaip sėdėti nelabai einu. Tai, karočią, irgi maždaug kurva antidepresantų jie išrašė, sakau, čia kurva nedepresantų, reikia kažkas kažkur kakle, nu, yra užspaus kažkoks nervų, žinai, tai čia gydy. Tai pradėjo maždaug steroidinius vaistus siūlyti, leisti į kaklą, kad skausmą nuimtų. Ble, o kai ieškoti, žinai, gal tiesiog reikia kokią masažą ar kažko, ar mankšto, žinai, nu, logika, sakau, yra debilai.
Man tai plaučių uždegimo čia rado, praėjus pusantrą mėnesį po tyrimų ir kaip pasilaikau pas.
Tai ko man čia nerado, aš asmą turiu pasirodo.
Žodžiu, gerai, einu miegoti jau čia sėdi. Davai.
Nu, šiaip su viena mergina susitikinėjau, jinai čia ta psichuškai. Tai sakė, reikia su jais simuliuoti. Labai tau apsimest, kad labai tau blogai.
Sean is a saint who manages a night asylum to provide food and rest to the
Ja,
poor.
locha yra.
Unfortunately, he is
Nu,
recently
pas jų tam yra ten, tipo, žinai, kiti pasąmonė.
Čia locha yra dėl to, kad jie, aš nemanau, kad nors ypatingai baigė sėdėti tenais, kad GP, jie tik tai daug kas užėmė tas pozicijas, nes žmonių trūksta, dar kažkas tai. Tai paskui jie siunčia, jeigu kažkas blogai.
Tai jo reikia, žiūrėk, kai nuėjau į ligoninę siuntė, nuėjau, sako, nieko tai, jeigu seselė apžiūrės, jokia seselė, gydyti, kur yra. Tai žinau, kad ta seselė tepaliuką išrašys, vazelino. Nes aš žinau, tai ten reikia labai, tipo, kad tau ten visai žopa yra. Apsimesti. Aš visą laiką ateinu, sakau, kad tu gydyt. Dabar aš viskas. Sėdžiu, laukiu valandą.
Would you like to take communion with me now? Are you eating raw flesh?
Tai ligoninė tenais prasidėjo, ten subadė ranką, kai ten, kaip atautis, sudartų žaistis, sumėtė. Ten vienas į salę 6 kartus bandė durti.
Thank you, Lord. I am your most humble servant. So, true to your word, you waited for my return. I told you, Dr. Reed, I was a man to be trusted. Did you have words with the poor Harriet?
Bet pasisekė, kad gydytas buvo ne anglas.
We are God's children, Dr. Reed.
Geriau buvo.
Determined to save us.
Harriet, Miss Jones has been behaving in a most violent manner. She's going to need special attention.
That's precisely the reason I brought her here. To meet old Bridget. She's the guide Harriet requires.
Harriet is possessed by her hatred. You cannot let her roam free. She's dangerous.
She has joined her own kind, Doctor. Old Bridget is a saint to the younger Scals, guiding them to salvation and peaceful existence.
I believe I've learned all I need to know. I'm certain you've killed no one, but one day I believe you'll cross the line.
Logic is a false prophet. Faith is the only path to salvation.
What do you mean?
We have been blessed with God's eternity. We are the instruments of His divine will. We shall feed the hungry forever and ever. Amen. Give yourself over to God, Doctor. Expel your urges and kneel before the Lord in praise.
These urges. You know the hunger will never be satisfied.
I've come to embrace the everlasting craving. I have sworn to feed only upon the flesh of the dead. It is now my sacrament. Take, eat. This is my body. So saith the Lord.
Dead Alliance is a team-based tactical shooter with the unique hook of there being a huge amount of zombies in the middle messing everything up. Unlike many other first-person shooters that have zombies in them, the aim of the game is not to mow down as many zombies as you can. The whole point is that you use the zombies as a tactical weapon against your enemy. You can use special weapons that we've developed in the game that you can either turn them into attack dogs for your team, for example, or you can use them as defensive shields. It adds a very, very unique tactical hook to the game, making it pretty different from most first-person shooters you're ever going to play.
So the story in Dead Alliance takes place in the future after the zombie apocalypse has already happened. What we have left now is sort of these warring military, paramilitary factions who are fighting over the resources that are left. But in that, they have also found out how to control these zombies using various pheromones and noises.
There are more in quantity of the zombies. They're an easier thing to use than, you know, using things like bullets or ammo or grenades. You don't want to waste that stuff. That stuff's extremely valuable. But what do you have lying around? You have a bunch of zombies there. Let's take that. Let's use that.
This whole concept creates a strategic challenge that will pull you in and keep you on your toes. It's always fun to actually get a kill on somebody else with your weapon, but it's extremely satisfying when you are able to weaponize a zombie and it ends up taking down 3 people.
Really kind of makes you rethink the way you play a first-person shooter. I mean, there's guys we play against in the office that are great at shooting, but I have an advantage over them because I know how to weaponize the zombies.
The most direct way is to just weaponize a group of zombies when they're near an enemy, and they will help take down that enemy while you're also attacking them yourself.
Or even block an enemy's egress into or out of a building. So for example, if you know that there's an enemy or a team of enemies inside a building, you can send a group of zombies into that building to either flush out your enemy or to kill them outright.
So it's really finding what combinations of items work well together.
There's a pan grenade that you can throw at the zombies and it gets them super mad and they will be hyper aggressive.
I've seen people use zombies as kind of a wall, so they'll use the LRAD, which basically attracts zombies into an area so that the snipers and the enemies at a distance couldn't really attack them, so they had to pick off a wall of zombies at first.
And so it really just creates a more dynamic battlefield for players to experience.
In any first-person shooter, teamwork is a cornerstone of the experience. But with Dead Alliance, they get to push even further.
Having 3 other team members on your team makes it far easier to send cohesive instructions to them and coordinate your attack patterns as well as your defensive perimeters.
So keeping it to a 4v4 experience, you have a tighter knit team. And also thematically, there's not many humans left because everybody's a zombie.
There are modes that many players will recognize, such as Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch. There's a free-for-all mode.
So in the example of Capture the Flag, you're not actually just
Šiaip
moving.
įdomu, YouTube'as rodo normaliai streamą, bet trečias sumažinti kažkaip.
Master of zombie pheromones, and as soon as you pick it up, interesting things happen with the zombies. Like now they react differently to you.
And we want to add a unique mode that's never been seen before.
Ne, aš sen taip streaminu iš manęs.
Maybe borrowing from a MOBA
Ai,
game.
tu streamini?
Creating a special map just for this mode.
Internetu muš.
Užtenka, ta prasme, formatas biškai skiriasi, kažkaip susiaurintai atrodo Twitch'e, bet YouTube'as tai normaliai rodo.
Players need to work down those lanes and capture tower points, and back at their base they have a constant stream of friendly zombies spawning out and attacking those lanes with them. There are still a bunch of neutral zombies throughout the map that they can then influence and work to their advantage.
Ai tu nori kokiu akauntu super premium.
Negadinsi apie Twitch'e premium akauntą. Ten gauni didesnės streaminimo galimybės, jeigu patvirtina tave kaip partneriai. Ten turi turėti followerių kažkiek jau, žinai, aktyvus tavo chatas turi būti, taip toliau. Taip lengva negauti. Bet padarė kažką dabar, kad ir paprastiem būtų paprasčiau. Pasidomėti.
It's a series of levels that you go through. Zombie waves will just continuously attack, and there's other environmental hazards like gas that have been dropped that are forcing you to certain locations.
And each map tells the next chapter of the story, essentially. I won't give anything away, but you basically have to fight your way through the levels and find out what happens. We'll see you on the battlefield.